Yes, here we go then with the World Cup of Pool for 2014 from Portsmouth. Our first match features Greece against these guys here with their backs to us at the moment. Indonesia, the Indonesian partnership of Israel Nasution and Mohammed Zulkifli. They'll be the underdogs in this one, up against the Greeks, who could be a dark horse, Ted.
Absolutely. I wouldn't say that Indonesia's much of an underdog in this match. Let's call it 60-40 in favor of Greece. You know, Nick Economopoulos. Boy, fancy those uniforms there for Indonesia. Those are nice. Now you see Nick Economopoulos on the left of your screen there. Currently ranked the #4 player in Europe. Over the last few years, he's been a really strong player worldwide, Nick, and he's really raised his game. And he was in the 2012 Mosconi Cup, made a good account of himself.
Is it fair to say that Nick on the left there is the best individual player of the four we're seeing in this match?
Oh, absolutely. And he's a very good friend of Alexander Kazakis. These two know each other well. You can see they're already comfortable with each other, so they will have no problem getting in sync with each other.
And that is such an important part of the World Cup of Pool. As you said earlier, Ted, an individual sport. Now suddenly these guys are welded together as a team, and sometimes they don't get along. Anyway, here we go with the handshake, and yeah, you're right. The no question who's won the battle of the shirts, and it's not these guys. But it's a race to 7. That is a sprint in pool terms, so important to win that lag, and so that you've got a chance to break. So let's see who wins the lag.
Absolutely, and it's a winner-break format, meaning if you win the rack, your team comes back up to the table and will shoot against a theoretically, Nick, you could put your opponent in the chair for the entire match and you'll never see them play. We have yet to see that, but it could happen.
First rack, race to 7, winner breaks.
Well, the Indonesians won the lag.
And there is Israel Nasution. We don't often see those kind of shirts in pool, but I kind of like it. It's something different. Casual look.
Well, let's see what he can do with his break.
And we must remind the fans that there is an illegal break rule. You must get 3 balls past that head string, you see, at the top of the table, or a combination of balls pocketed and balls past the head string must be 3. So that is a legal break right there.
And he's opened the table up. The 1 ball down, the 3 ball down. So it's the blue 2, this long shot here.
Yeah, now he can make this, but he's got to be able to find position on the pink 4, which is all the way back up the table. So tough opening shot.
And he didn't want that contact.
No, so now he's looking at a combination shot. These are always tricky. This is fairly well laid out for him, but of course it's a finesse shot in that you've got to make sure that you maintain position for the 4 because he'll be shooting at the 4 again. Unless it passes. No, it doesn't.
Well, there's the finesse. Now, where's that pink going to travel to? Not ideal.
And that's always the problem. The thing is, a 9 ball, you know, right now what they're looking at is, you know, they did the early work, made a couple balls in the break and 2 good shots to start off the match. If they don't get a good result on this shot, Nick, then they leave Greece open.
And the Greeks would fancy their chances.
Oh, and
well, they're out of time.
I don't. Okay, the shot clock. There's a 30-second shot clock. It appeared that he ran out of time. He has 1 extension per rack. So according to referee Nigel Reese, there you see Nigel. He gave them the extension, so they get a 30-second extension. This will be the last extension this rack, so they got to go safe.
Now, has he found safety? Tough to find safety with 4 balls on the table, but he's made it long and difficult for Alex Kazakis.
Well, and that's what you want to do. You want to just at least create distance Distance is always the enemy of pool players.
And there is the distance involved. So Indonesia will be frustrated, but that previous shot was the one that did them. So contact here is not the issue. It's what does he do after contact? And he's going to try again, go for distance, try and get a little bit of a hide behind that.
No.
That ball there. I don't know if he's got it, Ted. I don't know if he's got it.
No. So they could either go for a bank shot here, which is a risky shot, or another safety. And he goes for a safety, but this is going to be left on, and plenty of room to maneuver now. So a good chance here for Nick Economopoulos and Team Greece. Our opening rack here at the 2014 World Cup of Pool in Portsmouth, England.
Got to come back down for that orange. Makes the pink. Gives himself what looks like a decent shot there. Straightening up a little bit. But it's over to Alex Kazakos now to try and deposit that 5.
This is the first rack having been played on this table. Nobody's had a chance to practice on this table. So oftentimes in pool tournaments, Nick, you see players having a little issue sometimes adjusting, and there it was right there. You saw the position was not ideal, and that comes down to not being used to the table conditions.
I'm surprised at how badly he missed that, Ted. I mean, that wasn't close. Just an extra dimension to this one. That 9 ball locked up at the bottom rail there is not an ideal position either, so still some work to be done here. The 5 and the 7 should go pretty easily here for Indonesia, but can they get on for the 9?
Now here, this shot may be a little straighter than Zulfikri wanted to leave it, because now he's going to have to juice it back. And there you see.
And because of that, he's missed the shot. He's got terrific position on the 9, but he paid a heavy price for it because he blew it on the 7.
Well, and he blew it on the 7, Nick, because the position was not ideal. You know, in pool, you want to leave those angles. Leaving it straight like that forced Nasution to have to juice it back on a long shot to screw it back, and that's very difficult. You're doing like 3 things at once.
So Ekonopoulos, has he got enough for his partner Kazakis to put this away? That's a tricky one.
Yes, indeed.
That's a real tricky one.
Attention code.
And immediately Greece calls for the 30-second extension. That will start as soon as the 30-second shot clock expires. They will get another 30 seconds.
Yeah, these shots down the rail, cut shots, always difficult.
So we're into that extension. And Kazakis still considers his options. But this is a tough one. That full stretch. Just the finest of cuts he needs on this. And has he got it? Yeah, great shot. Really good shot, so long as that white ball doesn't disappear down the pocket as well. No, that's going to stop. So a terrific shot at the end of that opening rack from Alex Kazakis. And I tell you what, if that sets the tone for this competition, Ted, we are in for a good few days.
Well, yeah, it was a mistake-filled rack from both teams, and I think it's a combination of nerves and not having been used to the table. We've got a couple of these diamonds up in the practice room, but the conditions are different. I mean, it's literally a different climate in the practice room, so it's not going to be rolling and playing the same. Also, the nerves, Nick, you know, I mean, we're being seen around the world, and this is one of the biggest tournaments in the world with a pile of money on offer. So, a lot of pressure on these guys.
Well, they're happy enough because they lost the lag and were able to come in and pinch that opening rack off Indonesia. And it's the
Second rack,
lesser
release the break, leading 1 rack to
experienced
0.
of the two Greeks, Alex Kazakis. Kazabubu to his friends, who is going to break off here.
That could be the best nickname in the sport. Kazabubu.
Well, let's hope he doesn't make a boo-boo here. He's got it's a clean legal break. The white ball was thinking about disappearing down into that bottom right-hand pocket, but has stayed up. But it doesn't give Economopoulos a lot of chances now. He's very limited in what he can do. Look how close that white ball, just hanging on the edge of the pocket there.
Fortunately for Greece, I believe that Economopoulos can actually see this. That white ball is blocked by the inside of the pocket there, but the location of the blue
Push out
two.
code.
Push out. Okay, he can't see the two.
There's the push. So decision time for Indonesia.
Right. Well, he's pushed in to a jump position, but this is an almost impossible jump shot because the only thing he can do here is kick or give the shot back to Greece, which is what they're going to do.
Set the
Well,
clock, please.
that's not exactly a difficult decision, was it? As you say, a fiendish jump shot to attempt.
Reset the clock, please.
So dangled a bit of bait out there, the Greeks. Indonesia said, no, thank you, you can have that.
Now, can he see this? She's getting down on it like he can see it. Okay, at first I couldn't tell. This is a really hard shot off the rail. Really hard to control the cue ball, too. And
That's not good. Well, there's a lot of work to be done on this table, that's the good news. And it's going to be tough to get position on the red 3 off the back of this shot.
yeah, because it's going to be, if he attempts to pocket it, that cue ball's going to go all over the table. Fortunately for Indonesia, the 3 ball's sitting right in the middle, which sort of increases your percentages for the next shot.
But there's also a few hidey holes available if he does decide to go for safety, and I don't think he is. I think he's going to try and roll the dice. And that's not a bad roll. He's got just a bit of angle there. Has he just about enough?
Yes, indeed, and that's a good shot because good angle to get position on the pink 4, which you can see in the middle of the table, sort of right next to the yellow and white 9 ball.
Oh, that's another nice shot. Look at the angle he's managed to pick up on that pink 4. But this is the big question here, of course, Ted, is where does this cue ball go off the back of this? Because he's got to get it back up to the top of the table. And that's where it's heading. And yeah, nice shot.
The tough shot here is going to be on that green 6 because it's always difficult to go down the rail. I don't know if the 6, maybe we can get a close up there, if it goes in the side. Doesn't appear to go in the side.
Don't think it does. But that's decent. A little bit of angle as well.
No, this is going to go down the rail into the bottom right corner. And this is the shot of the rack right here.
Yeah, if he gets this right, they're pretty much home free. But that's a big if. Yeah. Well, there were two elements of that were tough. The pot wasn't easy, and position wasn't easy either. And it's just bounced away from the pocket enough to make this a real awkward one for Kazakis. Makeable, but not a gimme.
You know, those shots down the rail, you know, a lot of amateurs have problems with those. The pros don't like them either, especially when you have to go past a pocket, that side pocket there. Now, that was nicely done.
Very nicely done. Just needs a little bit of angle off that rail, and I think...
Well, there's not a ton of angle there, but yeah, you see where he put his cue stick. It's all he's got to do is sort of punch it out into the center of the table, and that'll leave enough angle on the 8 and then for the 9. He's going to screw this back.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now that has to go down as an error. Simple as that. Again, looking for position, but because he was going for position, Ted, he's missed the shot.
Exactly. It's not about, you know, just making the pot, as it might be for an amateur. It's always about you need position, and that's why he had to hit it so hard. He also had to try to screw the ball back to bring it out for position, and that was a result of there was not enough angle, Nick, on that 7 ball, and that's why Economopoulos had to hit it so hard. Now, Jim White and I were checking these pockets before the tournament. They are very tight. The standard in pool is about 4.5 inches. I think these pockets were more closer to 4.25.
Now, where's this going? Ooh, that's not what he wanted at all.
Oh, that's a huge error right there. Wow, to now be forced into what, a safety with just 3 balls on the table prior to, that's glaring error.
You've got to go for the shot, surely. I mean, as you say, so he has to go for safety, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. And in fact, it's not a bad effort. That's not a bad effort at all.
Excellent safety, but you certainly don't want to have to give up the table. But that in essence is when you marry that cue ball up against that 9. That's not a defensive. That's a good offensive shot right there. That's an excellent shot.
Well, I must admit, I thought he was going to have to go for the pot, but he saw that there was a good aggressive safety, as you say, Ted, and it's put the Greeks under real pressure now. Got to make contact and make safety. Well, there's the contact, but where does it end up? Is it going to travel? Is it going to keep going? That's gettable, but it's tough.
Boy, this is so important for Indonesia. They're down 1-0, and it's just a race to 7. So mistakes from both teams, nerves, getting used to this TV table. You don't want to fall behind even by 2 racks in a race to 7 here, because it can start to get very difficult to come back.
And Indonesia have had their extension.
Oh.
What a nice shot that was.
Did you see that? The way he spun the ball?
Yeah, shot to the rack.
With a real soft touch.
No wonder he's exhaling.
Israel Nasushin with a terrific recovery.
And it's Zulkifli now to put the exclamation mark on it. And he does just that. That is teamwork right there. Indonesia getting themselves back on level terms. And as you say, Israel Nasushin digging out a beauty here. This was a real high-pressure shot. And he couldn't have played it any better.
The amount of spin on that ball. Just really high-level shot there. Always good to get one on the board, Nick, finally.
Well, as you say, a race to 7, 2-0, you're suddenly facing 1 or 2 headaches. You can't afford it. And, of course, the good news is you win, you stay on. A little bit of loose play from both these two in that last rack.
Well, that's the lesson of pool. It's always about position. Almost every time you see a player, or a team in this case, lose position early in the rack, they might make 1 or 2 subsequent balls, but eventually they run out of room and they miss a ball.
1-1.
It's a slippery slope. And that's the precision of pool. That's what's so fascinating about pool. You know, if you're just used to watching snooker, you may think, pool's easy. Look at these big pockets and everything. No. There is so much more to it than that.
It's a legal break. And a good spread of balls across the table, but that one ball's travelled a long, long way up the table. And that's the tough shot.
This is a really tough shot. He may opt to go for a safety because that's a very difficult cut with a very difficult to guarantee position on the 2. He went for it and he whiffed.
Missed it. Oh dear, oh dear.
Wow.
And with balls spread all over the table as well.
He could have decided to go safe. I don't know. He had to hit it so soft to try to get position on the 2, but what's done is done. Now, ball in hand, so Greece can place it anywhere on the table they like. And Nick, you've watched enough 9-ball over the years. You know what ball in hand in 9-ball means.
Yeah,
generally
it means unless there's something horrible on the table, the rack is yours, and there's nothing too horrible on that table. I'd be surprised if the Indonesians are out of their chair for the remainder of this rack. That was a really costly one. Kazakis looking to deposit the 3. And the pink is nicely lined up. Bit of angle for him. Just a little bit close to that 7 ball, but he should be able to cue over that without too much difficulty here.
He's going to have to dig into this and, yeah, juice it back there for the green 6. So there it is, the ball in hand. You can place the ball anywhere on the table. And generally, that's a run out in 9-ball pool.
As it should have been. You saw the table, didn't you, Ted, and thought, that's it. And just the 9 to be deposited here from the man known on the circuit as Nick the Greek. And just like that, one big mistake, effectively end of rack. Greece 2-1 to the good in this race to 7, the opening match of the 2014 World Cup of Pool. Back with more in just a couple of moments. While we were away, the Indonesians just nipped away as well. They're back now in their seats, but it's almost like just sort of clear the head, because that was a big, big error there that led in Greece. 2-1, they stay on.
1 ball goes in the side again. And, well, the 2 is open, but no clear shot to a pocket. Both teams having early jitters, plus tough time getting used to this TV table. We've seen a host of positional errors, which have really cost both teams.
Kazakis looking around, seeing how he's doing for time.
And there's no shot at a pocket here, so they'll be looking at a safety.
Early in the rack to be calling for the extension, isn't it? And they're into that time now.
Yeah, well, with the balls spread out like this, this is the most important shot here, because they don't want to leave this open.
So where is Kazakis leaving it? Didn't want contact, just avoided it, but he wants to play hide and seek behind that 3 ball. And I'm not sure he's got it. Does that thread through?
Sure does. And there's an open shot to the side pocket. This is a delicate shot because, again, it's not so much about making this 2-ball. He'll probably make this. He's going to get play it delicately to get position on the red 3.
That just opened the table wide open.
Finally, some good position.
Nice little stun shot there. And back up for the 4 from Nasushin.
Now this is their chance to tie it up. If they don't get through this rack, then I think you'll see the story of the match right there, because it's going to be tough to come back if they make another mistake. They got to get this.
Well, you've got to pounce on your opponent's errors, haven't you? The Indonesians made one on the last rack. And on this one, Alex Kazakis going for safety on that 2 and leaving it wide open. The chance for Indonesia to clean up. And Ted, if they miss this, they might as well go pack their bags and get out of town.
This is extremely elementary right here. What's good about Indonesia, good communication. And what I mean by that is that they're not actually doing too much talking. That's the key in Scotch doubles. Both these players are very well versed in 9-ball. So they know where it should be left, or about where it should be left, the next ball.
And it's up to Mohamed Zulfikri to clean the table up. And put away this final 9-ball, which he does. Well, it just goes to show, you make one mistake in a rack, you're probably done. Because the Indonesians in rack 3 with that miss, but you look back at that attempted safety shot on the 2-ball off the break from Alex Kazakis, and when he got that all wrong, the Greeks were rooted to their seats. Simple as that. 2-2. A lot of mistakes, still a lot of nerves.
Yeah, and not a good safety play by Kazakis. There was a lot of opportunities. Even if you only just wanted to put distance between yourself, between the object ball and the cue ball, it failed on all aspects, and Indonesia took advantage. Now we're tied at 2. They break in this winner breaks format.
It's a race to 7. You do not have to
Rack 5.
win by 2 clear racks.
2-2.
It's just 6-6. Next rack wins. Simple as that. So here's little Israel Nasushin with the break here. Got a ball down in the center pocket.
Well, again,
It's clean as well.
Excellent break. Excellent break. So again, we see the 1-ball tracking towards the side pocket. That is clearly the early trend. They'll be going for that 1-ball. I haven't really seen a guarantee on the wing ball. Now, if you watch a lot of 9-ball, there's a little bit of difference here in the way this balls are racked. The 9-ball is on the spot, not the 1-ball. Most of the time you'll see the 1-ball on the spot, but they're putting the 9-ball on the spot, and that's why the 2 wing balls are not going down regularly, but the 1-ball, which is always at the top of the rack, is going in the side. So the key is obviously make that 1 in the side, try to get a shot on the 2. By the way, all other balls beside the 1 and the 9 are racked randomly, so there is no set pattern.
And the full ball deposited by Zulfikri. We've not seen any discussions and dramas over the racking yet. That will change over the course of the week, especially with 1 or 2 of the players that we have in the lineup. Nasushin on the 5. He's got to set his partner up for a shot at the 6. Needs a little bit more than that. I think he's just about okay. Bit close for comfort there.
Yeah, this is could prove difficult.
Didn't need to be, did it?
Now, again, we talk about position a lot because it's not just the shot you're shooting at. You must have good position on that object ball in order to move the cue ball to the next shot. See? Now, it wasn't the best position. This is not the easiest shot on the 7. So again, you see how it's like it becomes a slippery slope as soon as you lose position. It's very hard to get back on track.
You're chasing it, aren't you?
Yeah.
And what looked like it should have been a routine clearance has to be worked on a little bit now. Well, where's that going to go? I think he's put a nice little shot there, Nasushan. But again, it's one of those shots that needed a lot of work.
I like their style. They really had said much to each other, and they're very relaxed. Nick, in non-ball, there's no such thing as a perfect match. No player, no team ever plays perfectly. The key is to relax and try to ride out the rough patches. Keep a positive attitude.
Indonesia called for their extension there just for Nasushan to allow himself just to settle down, take his time. He should get this, but it's not a gimme. Nicely done. Bounced off the jaws. But a good clean-up there from Indonesia. And they go in front in this race to 7, 3-2. This one had a degree of difficulty. Clips the one jaw, clips the other, and drops.
Well, that'll do something for their confidence. Break and run after all those missteps.
I hope those chairs are comfortable. They've been there for a while now.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's the worst place to be. There's just nothing you can do. Nothing at all. You wait.
Well, it's good that Matchroom provides comfortable chairs for the players. A lot of times in pool nowadays, you see the alternate break format. This goes back a few years. The winter breaks format. I think a lot of the hardcore fans in pool really appreciate the winter breaks format. It's makes for a lot of drama.
Our referee Nigel Rees just having a word with the two teams, as you might have guessed. There's some early technical issues here with the shot clock. Sometimes it's firing, sometimes it isn't, and that's just confusing the players a little bit. So I think Nigel Rees has just explained the situation, asked for a bit of patience for everybody. There's always one or two teething problems, so as you say, they don't seem to be too bothered by anything, just getting on with it, as Nigel Rees now racks up for rack 6. This is a big rack. Neither they've played you have one, I have one so far, but if the Indonesians can get in front, 4-2 in a race to 7 is a good place to be.
The momentum in this sport can just change just like that, and I think that rack right there, you saw Indonesia grab the momentum in this match. Very relaxed, nice break and run out. Had a few rough patches there, but they battled their way through it. And now here is Mohammed Zulfikri. He's going to break from the same side of the table.
Indonesia to break, leading 3 racks to 2.
As his opponent, and there was an excellent break in the last rack. So watch that yellow 1 ball at the top of the rack track towards the side. There it goes
again. 2 balls down. Pink has gone. But where's the blue? Up the table. He's got a clean shot at it. But just watch that blue bouncing off the bottom rail. You know, if they can nail this and get position, well, that's a massive if. That is a really big if. Yeah, but if they can, the rack is theirs. This is the shot.
Bit of awkward cueing. He's got to reach over the red 3. He's got the 9 sort of in his way a bit, not too much. So, yeah, the key is the position on the 3. And now they're going to have to play safe. Or are they?
Well, it's a makeable shot. It's a very makeable shot. But the thing is you talked about it before, Ted, with these cuts, that cue ball is going to be pinging all over the table after this, and you'll lose control of that, and that could end up anywhere. So what do? Decision time for Nasution. He's got to go for it, surely.
Extension call.
And the extension has been called, and that's the right decision.
Well, this is the very definition of a delicate shot. He's got to feather that past the orange 5 ball, and that's his next ball. Oh, that's terrific
you
shot.
You can't play it much better than that.
Shot of the rack.
Kept control of that cue ball beautifully as well. You can't play it any better than that.
I think they're feeling pretty good right now after the break and run in the last rack, and the way they've set this table up with 2 terrific shots to start things off.
Well, if they just clear that bit of traffic, this should be done and dusted, and he's cleared it comfortably. He's given his partner a little bit of an angle, just enough angle as well. I tell you, that was a really well played shot by Zulfikri. You said it earlier, Ted, teamwork. It's not like one of these guys is carrying the other. They're both coming up with some decent shots now. They've really settled down, the Indonesians.
They look great. They don't really talk to each other, which I've seen over the years, Nick, watching this tournament. The teams that tend to talk too much and try to strategize too much are generally not playing well. It's when they sort of, when you see a team gel together, 2 guys gel together, they don't really have to say much, except in very tricky situations. So right now, these guys are playing very well.
And once again, Zulfikri setting it on a plate for his partner. Israel Nasution with a comfortable 9 ball for 4-2, just like that. And those Greeks have been sat in their chairs for a long time now. 4-2, they need 3 more to progress to the round of 16, where potentially England A would await. Greeks, they sit in their chair. Alex Kazakis and Nikos Ikonopoulos, as Indonesia have control of this, and it's been good racking. That 1 ball has been pinging into the side pocket. They've opened everything up, and they've worked some very nice shots. And they've missed the 1 ball to the side, but they've got the pink down. Now, where's everything else?
Oh, yeah, they're going to have a nice shot on the 1 ball, and just a little push of that cue ball. They should be able to get on the 2, so the balls are nicely spread apart. First round action here at the 2014 Betway World Cup of Pool. So they have had Team Indonesia won 3 in a row after being down 2-1, and the last 2 have been break and runouts. So they are really settled in early here.
And they've got a chance of a run out here, Ted. They really have.
Yeah, there's nothing the Greeks can do except get comfortable in their chair, hope for a mistake.
The cue ball's got to do a bit of work here to get it back onto the 5. But if Mohamed Zulfikri can get that work done with the cue ball here, this rack is going to open right up. Now, where's that going? Well, it's a long shot.
Well, the key here is they're still not out of the woods yet because there's not a lot of angle here. So they're probably going to end up with a long shot on the green 6. First got to pot it, then you got to get proper position on the next ball. You can see it's a tough shot. He's got to dig into that in order to move the cue ball into position. Nicely done. But
oh, look at that. That's far from ideal.
Yeah. So again, you see the problem there. He had to, he couldn't hit it square in the middle of the cue ball. He had to dig into it to try to juice it back, and he didn't get enough juice on it, enough spin on it. So he's left this difficult shot on the 6, and this is very missable. Oh, they're in the groove.
But they got some work to do on that 7. They are in a groove, though. You're right. There's some angle there. And this is the shot of the rack, really, for Nasution. And I think if he makes this, gives his partner a shot at the 8 ball, it's rack over and 5-2, but this is not easy.
5.
Extension call.
Yeah, that's the right decision. The pot won't bother him. It's placement of that cue ball off the back end. That's the issue here.
Boy, that's dead center of the pocket with perfect position for nice angle so he can bring it off the rail and out for the 9 ball.
Hello. He's made that harder than it needed to be. And I'm sure Nasution's had a little glance at his partner and said, come on. A little smile there from Zulfikri. Yeah, he knows that wasn't that could have been a lot easier.
He'll get this.
He did. You're right. He just had to do a little bit of work for it. This is turning into a bit of a rout at the moment from 2-1 down. Indonesia now 5-2 up. It's all coming off the breaks as well, Ted. They're getting a little bit of good fortune. There's the 9 ball just sliding in. But when they've been given their chances, they're taking them.
Absolutely. They're shooting well. It's not just easy runouts. These have been, you could very easily lose position early on or miss a ball. But they've gotten in the groove early. They've got to be feeling very good, Indonesia, about the way they've come out here and played. It's not easy to come out in the opening match of this tournament and be loose. We saw a few mistakes from both teams early on, and they quickly, at 2-1 down, they quickly got in the groove.
Rack 8, Indonesia to break, leading 5 racks to 2.
And you know what? It all came in that 4th rack when Alexander Kazakis, off the break, tried to play safe and made just a terrible leave on that 2 ball. And ever since he left that 2 ball open in rack number 4, it's been all Indonesia. And here we go again with the 1 ball going in the side.
And a clean shot at the 2, but will it pass the 7 ball? I think it does. No, it doesn't. No, there.
Well, he can.
That angle told the story, didn't it?
Go in the side.
It would go in the side, Ted. Although getting position on the 3 if it goes in the side. Can you get that?
Well, yeah, because it's going to allow him to come off the top rail with the cue ball and run it back up, and he can bring the 3 ball into the same pocket.
You make this game sound easy.
But that 3 ball's not going to be easy.
No. That's a tough one. That's yeah.
I think the way these guys are playing right now,
They don't want to give the table up, do they?
yeah, well, certainly, and they're feeling pretty confident about everything they shoot. Now, the key here, red 3 is the object ball. Have to come down, bottom of the table for the pink 4. Shot of the rack right here.
5.
Oh, no, go safe.
Doesn't get it.
Wasn't feeling that confident to take on that kind of cut.
Well, finally, the Greeks get out of their chairs.
It's about 12, 13 minutes,
Yeah.
15 minutes maybe.
That's a long time in a race to 7. But a lifeline here. What can they do with it? Well, options. All those options require an awful lot of work with the cue ball. Now, will they, as a result of that, play safe? And that's the thing, Ted. Psychologically, you've been sat in your chair so long, you probably want to get a run yourself. You don't want to be thinking safety.
Yeah. It's really not a chance to get loose. You just have to come up with a very clever safety. Maybe just put some distance between the object ball and the cue ball.
Kazakis. Oh, what's he going to do? The combination shot, top right.
No
Go
way.
for the pot, bottom right, or just play it safe.
Extension call.
Well, there's always that temptation to go offensive for a miracle shot, to get something going when you've been sitting in your chair so long and your opponents are 2 away from victory. But that would be probably a fatal effort if they try to go offensive here. There's no way.
Especially as both of them through the first 3 or 4 racks were very, very up and down, weren't they?
Yeah.
They hadn't got any rhythm at all. Well, he went. It was a 2-way shot, wasn't he? He went for safety and looked for the combination. See if he could get the combination off the back end of it.
Well, you can look for. They're going to send this red 3 all the way down to the table. Perhaps use that pink 4 and black 8 as a hiding place for the red 3.
Five.
Extension call.
30-second shot clock. 1 extension per rack.
So we are now out of extensions for this rack. Didn't get the hidey hole, did he? And in fact, he couldn't have done it much worse.
Why not hit it a little harder and then put the red 3 down by the rail where you have those sort of blockers with the pink? Or instead, this is the opening that Greece needed.
Yeah, Nasution's left it for him. Got both elements of it completely wrong. And Kazakis looking to
Five.
take the opportunity.
Oh, that works. Bumped into the 9. That's okay.
Yeah, because the pink does cut.
Well, sometimes in pool, it's just one shot, one mistake by your opponent that lets the other team back in. And again, that's the beauty of the winner breaks format. Greece sat in their chair for upwards of 15 minutes, and they're just as capable of doing the same thing to Indonesia.
That pretty much wraps up the rack. Kazakis giving his partner plenty of opportunity to get rid of the 6.
The only thing I can think of why Indonesia messed up that safety, perhaps Nasution was worried about scratching if he hit the cue ball too hard. But he left that wide open.
Nice bit of drag from Kazakis. Really well played with the cue ball. Mosconi Cup winner Nick the Greek a couple of years ago. Very, very experienced, highly capable player. And the Greeks are back in business. Kazakis with the put away once again. An error proves decisive. And it was all about the attempted safety from Israel Nasution. He didn't get either element right. He left the object ball wide open, and here it is again. He tried to play hide and seek behind that brown, didn't get it.
See, if he'd hit that a little harder, the 3 would have bounced off the rail and would have been hidden behind the 8 and 4. Except he left it wide open, and he knew as soon as he hit it that he had made the wrong choice.
So instead of being on the hill, they've let the Greeks back in. 3-5. And Kaz a break. Been a while since they've had a break. Let's see
Rack
what they
9,
do with it.
Greece to break, trailing 3 racks to 5.
As you said earlier, 10, it's that one ball just flies into the side pocket.
If you hit it correctly.
If you hit it correctly.
And Alexander here has put the ball on that left side of the table where he saw the Indonesians get so much success there earlier in this match. So watch that yellow one. There it is.
He's got it. He's got another one as well.
Oh,
little bonus. Oh, that's a well-played shot by the 23-year-old.
Well, what's the story of this tournament so far here in this first match? You better have a good safety game. This is going to favor teams like the Philippines that are legendary for their amazing safety play. I mean, you cannot leave your opponent an open shot after a safety because you can see the one ball's going in the side and the tables are wide open. So here we go. We've got a match, Nick.
Well, you said it earlier. Momentum changes in the blink of an eye here, and it's been transformed here. Indonesia 5-2 up and cruising. One horrendous mistake. And you might be here for 40 minutes and you're back home again. But you never know. Here we are, 4-5. Greece trailing, looking for parity here. And Nick the Greek misses the one in the side, but does get the pink. Now the cue ball has travelled top of the table. He's got another one down, and he's...
I mean, the story of this match, Indonesia took control early by taking advantage of a poor safety by Kazakis, and then Greece got the initiative back off that very poor safety from Nasution of Indonesia. So safety play is the key.
The conversation here is not how do I pot the one, it's how do I get back for the two, or where do I go for the two, because they've got options. The two at the top of the table there, hovering around the middle pocket.
And not just the two, they've mapped out the entire rack already. I don't think you'll see them do much more talking after this.
I think Nick...
Well, he's going to take this down the rail. Nick Economopoulos. Well, he played safe. Didn't like that one because he was worried maybe about scratching in the side pocket. So good safety there. Now we might see the jump cue.
Well, there was a big landing pad, as you say, there to get safe. And will Nasution fancy a little jump here? Remember, his last shot was horrible. And the next one isn't much better. And not surprisingly, they're calling for the extension. So that's gone. Is he going to go and get that jump cue?
Yes,
He's gone back to his chair. Out comes the little stubby jump cue.
The problem for Indonesia with this shot, very difficult to pot it. So you got to jump it, which means that you got to have excellent control to play a safe.
5.
No guarantees here.
And he's got to do it. He's got to play it. Just avoided the scratch. Is he going to get a lucky break? Well,
that'll work.
He wants it to hit that rail and stay there, and that will do it. Yeah, don't think he quite planned that one, but it's worked out very well indeed. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck.
And you see those 3 balls right there? Nick's going to use those 3 balls as a blocker, but he didn't really get the best result. Good enough, I guess. Certainly no way to pot this.
But those 3, as you say, Ted, that's a natural haven for a safety shot. You get cue or object ball behind those 3 guys, which is exactly what they're trying to do here. Has he done it? No, he's made a mess again. I mean, Nasushan's safety play is letting him down badly.
Now what he
oh,
wanted
sorry, that's not Nasushan, that's Zulfikri.
What he wanted to do there was bring that cue ball closer to that wall of 3 balls right there. And anytime you marry the cue ball up against another ball, it limits the angles and the options for your opponent. So now look at this. He's left a shot on in the 2. Nothing easy here, but still, anytime you leave a player like Nick Economopoulos an open shot, he can definitely nail this. He can do some damage, Nick. Boy, this is a tough shot.
Yeah, and where does that cue ball end up?
Five.
Yep. Oh.
Absolutely brilliant.
Even that little kiss was perfect off the 7. So often, I was going to say, bad things happen when you get a collision like that, but okay, it's a little bit near the rail, but that's close to perfect. It worked out so well for him. Unless it is jammed up right against the rail there.
So the 4 and the 5 are already down. So the
5.
next ball will be the green 6, which is right next to the 9. There you go. Just got to avoid contact. That shouldn't be a problem.
Which he did. Back up to the center of the table for the 7. Bit of angle. Near the rail. Right on the rail, in fact.
Well, he can. This won't be a problem. And I think the Greeks' big boost of confidence there with Nick making that long shot on the 2. Whoa.
That's not ideal. That is far from ideal. Yeah, that was Kazakis. Yeah, who knows? He knows. He knows. So some work to be done here. And remember, he's out of extensions. So he's just got to get on with this.
5.
Does it cut? Does it bank? It banks. Bingo.
Natural
Lovely
angle
shot.
for the bank, and we are going to have a race to 2. Great match.
And a great shot that levels it up as well from Nick Economopoulos, the Mosconi Cup winner, the guy who's got the best credentials of the quartet, and that's why set his partner up perfectly as well. And it was his partner that had put him in that little bit of a hole, but he managed to get out of it so well, didn't he? And we are back on terms, and these guys sat in their stools just like the Greeks were earlier.
Safety
But again,
play,
yeah,
safety play.
from both of them as well. You know, there's shared blame there.
2 poor safes by Indonesia have allowed Greece to come back from a 5-2 deficit. Indonesia had the momentum 100%
Iraq 11
on their
Greece
side.
to break. 5-5.
I mean, there is every chance at 5-5 that they've played their last shot of the competition, the Indonesians. It's a race to 2. Indonesia ran 4 racks in a row. Greeks have now run 3 in a row. They only need 2. A favourable break here could put Greece on the hill. Let's watch and see where that 1 ball goes and see if anything else will follow it.
Alexander, last time he broke, he made 4 balls.
makes the one. He's got one in the side as well. And where's that blue ball going to settle?
Well, 2 balls down, the 1 and the 8, and nothing clear on the 2. I don't believe that 2 looks like it's blocked by the 6.
And the 3 has been dispatched all the way up the other end of the table. How does he get that cue ball into position for a shot at the pink?
And you know what, Nick, this is it's actually more difficult than it appears. You might think as an amateur, oh, yeah, it's just sitting in the pocket, but this is a dangerous shot. It limits his ability to maneuver the cue ball. That was nicely played.
Well, this is the shot of the rack.
So much riding on every shot now. Your money that you can win as a team just grows exponentially as you move through the tournament. Oh, that was nicely done. Will he get position, though? That will work. That will work.
Only just.
But they've still got some work to do.
If that cue ball goes where Kazakis wants it, and he'll take that.
That's it.
This should put Greece on the hill. Ooh, bit of contact. No, he didn't need that. I think he's all right. I think he's going to get away with it.
Yeah,
but he didn't want that.
Well, you can tell by the way, yeah, that goes.
That was a bit of a shaky shot. That was a lot harder than it needed to be. He's got away with it. And Kazakis sets up Economopoulos to put Greece on the hill. Six-5 in this race to 7. The Greeks from 5-2 down. They've run 4 in a row. Finally, he can smile. Have we seen a smile from Nick yet? We have now.
And they'll be breaking in rack number 12, winner breaks format, race to 7. The winner of this match plays the winner of England Day and Spain. It'll be England trying to take down the Spanish Armada. I just had to use that. Here we're in Portsmouth. We're in sport. That phrase goes back 500 years, Nick.
It certainly
to Henry
does.
VIII, does it not?
It's Elizabeth I. But you're not. That's not bad for a bit of English history from an American. I'm very impressed. Very impressed.
I did my homework.
Greece to break, leading 6 racks to 5.
Anyway, let's see if Greece can consign Indonesia to the history books as far as the 2014 World Cup of Pool is concerned.
Oh, what a segue. Love it.
Well, one good break here, and that's where we'll be. Watch out for that yellow ball. If that slides into the side pocket, they will be in business. There it goes. Pink's gone as well. Ball's bouncing all over the table, but have they got a clean shot?
Well, we're gonna have to get a good angle on this. I don't know if the yeah, there might be a shot there.
I think there might be a shot, you know.
But again, he's got to get position. The way that cue ball is going to travel, he's limited in the pockets of that red 3. But of course, they just want to stay at the table. Or, because the position on the 3 is tough, do they play safe?
They don't want to play safe at this stage of the match. They surely, Ted. Surely you've got to,
Extension call.
They're called the extension. Surely 9-ball is all about aggression. That the player that takes the chance.
Not necessarily. Sometimes the best offense can be a good defense. So if they don't see position on that 3 possible, they might play safe.
Kazakis Double clutching here. And clock ticking. Big shot this.
Five.
He's going for it.
Going for the
Oh,
bank.
they banked it. Oh, that's such an aggressive shot.
And
Good call, Nick.
Look how he's left it as well. Couldn't play it any better.
Wow, that's got to be a huge confidence boost for Greece.
If they
I
can
mean,
get
even moving forward in this
Yeah.
tournament, that's a great shot.
if they can get from 3 to 5, Ted, I think this tournament's moving on to match 2.
5.
Well, he left him shooting this orange 5 off the rail, which limits Alexander's ability to manage this cue ball to get in position for that green 6. Got a bit of an angle, I believe. Yeah, he's got a bit of an angle.
5.
Now, where's that going? Well,
That
he
was
can
nice.
see the 6. Just run that down the rail. Get the cue ball clear of the black, and they will
5.
be pretty much there. Oh, spoken too soon. And is he going to get an enormous slice of luck? And he's not. Well, well, well.
Yeah, and that, again, remember that lesson we talked about? It's, you know, when you start to lose position early in the rack, generally it's a slippery slope downhill.
Amazing.
It was the position on the previous shot in which Alexander was left on the rail, so he couldn't really do much with the cue
5.
ball.
Safety first from Indonesia. Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is he going to get a big lucky break there with the black?
Yeah.
Set a clock, please.
Could he...
Could he take it off?
yeah, could
He
he
might go off
take
the
it
rail and try to
rail?
kick it in.
That's a high-risk shot. But will he go for it? He's looking at it. He's looking at it.
Or just bring this
5.
6 back up table, kick at it.
Went for it, didn't get it. And he has left the table wide open.
Wow.
Ooh, it's just, he's the one saving grace there is he's got it lined up right on the rail. So there's a bit of work to be done with the cue ball here for Zulfikri, but that was an error, and he knows it.
Very aggressive shot. And it does not pay off. You know, sometimes when you roll the dice, you hit the jackpot. Other times,
Snake
you crap
eyes.
out.
Yep. So Indonesia, would you believe it?
Well,
They're back in business.
again, and you know, he's left the Nasution on the rail, so he has to hit this dead perfect. There you see it. See, he can only, you know, there's not much he can do with the cue ball because he can only see the top of it.
Yeah, he's welded to that rail. Nailed it. Is he going to get away with it?
That'll
Yes,
work.
he is. Yes, he is. We're going hill. Great shot. Great shot, that. Really good.
You know, Nick, both teams have had errors in their games, but overall, from an entertainment standpoint, this is a high-quality match.
Yeah. Very watchable. And Sushin, who played that beauty, can take us to Hill. And there we go. Just like that. Now, how much would you blame Alex Kazakis for playing it aggressive there? Was there an alternative shot?
The thing is, on that kind of shot, if he tries to kick at it, there's a chance that that cue ball could scratch. So it's not really his fault that he was left with that shot, because it was the previous shot in which they were left on the rail. Yeah, and that's a tough shot. That's just a tough shot.
Look at the reaction.
It is truly a game of millimeters. You make that, they go on to win. He misses, now we're back, and Indonesia has a chance to grab the match. And just a minute ago, we're talking about Greece moving on and into the second round, and here it is, Indonesia at the table, breaking
Final
with a
rack.
chance to win.
Indonesia to break.
And it's the little fella, Israel Nasushin, with the break.
Nick, it's a cruel game, and that's why we love it.
Well, all about the break. We've been seeing a lot of balls going in off the break. You don't want a dry break here, not on a hill match. Now, 2 are down. Good spread of balls on the table. Can he see the 2 ball? Answer: yes, he can.
Makeable 2. Not the world's easiest shot at Hill. But you know, the 3 ball has got several possibilities. So yeah, looking pretty good here for Indonesia.
And a good spread of balls all over the table. That's a little bit straight, but I think there's just enough angle for Nasushin to work with here.
Well, I think Kazakis is kicking himself, but nothing to be ashamed of. That was a very difficult kick shot, trying to pot that way down the rail. But it's looking dark days at this moment for Greece.
Again, the overhead angle's deceptive, because that's very makeable. This passes. Can he get it back in play for the orange 5? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. He's missed it. And he has absolutely blown it. And his reaction says it all. Mohammed Zulfikri has just thrown it away.
That's just pressure. That's the pressure of the World Cup of pool.
I just look at, I mean, his head has dropped. He's gone. He knows it. He knows it.
Attention call.
And extraordinarily, the 2 Greeks who were just sat in their chairs with an air of resignation, incredibly, have been given another lifeline. That was a huge miss. You cannot overstate how bad that was. Now the pink goes, and has he covered that up? No, he's good enough. He's okay.
Perfect position. 5 will cut in the corner. They'll bring the cue ball back up around for the 6 in the other corner. Oh. Did you see the way that Alexander kind of stood up? He wasn't quite sure if he made that.
It's the last balls are always the tough ones, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't have my pen picked up yet to mark it in my score sheet. It's never over until that last 9 ball drops. There's just too much pressure in this sport.
Well, it's not the cleanest of matches we've ever seen, far from it, but in terms of drama and twists and turns and storylines, I mean, yeah, look at that. The clenched fist from young Alex Kazakis, and this for the match. And there it is, 7-6. The Greeks look like they're in control, look like they'd blown it, look like they were dead and buried, but a huge, huge error from Mohammed Zulfikri let them right back in, and they advance to the round of 16. The Indonesians pack those cues up, put them in your suitcase, get on the plane. You're going home. Your stay in Portsmouth has been short and not very sweet at all. But For these guys, it's England A or Spain in the next round. 7-6, a dramatic start to the 2014 World Cup of Pool.